Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Ahmed.
Good morning. Only 6 students joining the class today, preparing for the other exam.
Yes, sir. It's too
That's what.
much tension.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have maybe 3 problems for this class today. Once we finish them, no questions. You can leave, guys. Okay. Yesterday we started solving the problems in sheet LFF1. I left the first one for you to think about it, guys. We will be reviewing it maybe next week since you are busy today. Uh, and we have actually to solve the other focus on solving the other problems. So we solve problem 2, right? And I uploaded, guys, problem 3, problem 4. We already talked about them. So I want you guys to also read and solve problem 4, and I will send you announcement to upload problem 5 as assignment into D2L. Simply for, if you look at problem 4, check this one. This is easy one. In this problem, you need to create 10 numbers in range between 350 and 400 at interval 4. What you need to display the list. Then the program should then traverse the list and find all the numbers that are divisible by 3 and save those numbers in a new list and display the list. I think it's not that hard, guys. Uh, I will give you a hint how to solve it. Let's see. It is easy, guys. So you want to generate a list within the range between 30 and 350 and 400, and the interval is 4. So simply, guys, we have to use range function to generate this sequence. So how to generate the sequence? Using for loop, as we discussed yesterday. For loop, then in for loop will generate these numbers, and each time we generate a number, we add it to a list. We call it val list. You can call it any name actually, and use append method of function to add these values to this list. And simply, this is what this for loop is doing. So just generate numbers, add these numbers to a list. Actually, we are interested in in 10 numbers. There's 10 numbers. Okay, so I define it in my way here. I defined a function. I call it my list, and pass a list to this function. And I need here present the question, we need to create 10 numbers. So that's why here I used res function to generate 10 numbers from 0 to 9 and use the sequence as index to access the values from this list, val underscore list, this val list. Because this val list will, when I generate this function, the number of items are more than 10 items. Because imagine from 50 to 400 and the increment by 4 generation. Okay, so I used this for loop to generate a number from 0 to 9 and then use the sequence as index to this list. And each time I read, let's say I will read first item in the main list here and add it to another list because I need a list that has 10 items. Okay, and you can change the range here, guys. If in this one, in this range function, by default, I will generate numbers from 0 to 9. But sometimes if I want you to generate maybe starting from index from 3, let's say, to 14, I need 10 numbers, 10 items from this list. So I can specify the start range, which means the start of the index in this list. When I call this function, I will add 10 items from this list that I generated to the new list here. And the function will return the new list. This is simply, guys, how to generate a list using a sequence, and then how to access part of that list and store it in a new list, and then check if the items of the new list are divisible by 3. And so this function will check if the elements in the list are divisible by 3. Okay, so if the element is divisible by 3, I add it to another list. Okay, and the return a new list that has elements that are divisible by 3. Okay, let us run this program and see the result to make it. You see, guys, I need you guys to solve this question using different ways. You can use only for loop here. You don't need to define a function. You can use only for loop here and here. So try it in different ways, guys. So this is when I run the program, this part generated this function. This function, you see, more than 10 items, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, maybe 14. Okay. So, and the second part, when I call this, design this function, and I call it here, this is the output. When I printed the output, this is the output. 10 items list is you see the first 10 items. I only use the first 10 items, guys. But you can start from this item maybe until to the end. Just you need to specify this range, guys, in this function. So let's say you may start from item number 2 until from this item you enter the next 10 items. Sorry, let's say here the next 10 items up to here maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to here. From here up to here. If you start from 2 to, let's say, to 12 or to 13, sorry, from 2 to 13, you will be entering these items into this list. Because you know, not here, guys, we just called this function and we passed this list that we generated as argument. So that's why when we printed out this variable, we printed the list. Okay. After that,
Dr.
after
Ahmed,
which, yes,
which question you are solving?
question number 4 and sheet 1.
Okay.
Okay. So when I call the whole function, whole list, whole when I call this function only created a list and added the first 10 items here, printed them. This is the output. After that, we need to create another list that contains only the numbers that are divisible by 3. So this function, guys, does this. So if you look at this function, we passed a list as argument. So inside this list, there is elements, and we need to check each element if the element is divisible by 3. So that's here we used for loop for element in the list, the same list. If element mod 3 equals 0, we add it to another list. This is our list. I defined this list here, created it here inside the function. After that, guys, we just printed out this list. We call this function, as you can see, guys, here, and we passed the list in that function. So the output would be like this one. I need you guys to work on problem 5 and upload it to the D2L. I will create Dropbox maybe later on, and I will extend the deadline. Okay. This is for the sheet number 1. We have another sheet for this week, guys. Before we start the problem is, before we start solving the problems of this sheet, we wanted to make some review about the insert. We studied, guys, the insert method in, I think, week 11 when I introduced the lists. So there is a method called, or built-in function called insert. Using this function, you can add an element to a list, and you can specify the location or the index of that element inside the list. For example, here, if you look at this list, vowel, we have 4 characters, string data type, and we want to add letter O to this vowel at index 3. So this is specifies the index, the second argument for the element that you add. So if we got, just let me try it. Okay, just we enter this one. So we created this element, this list, and let us try add an element O to this list, and we print the updated list and see how insert method work. Control V. See, if you can see guys here, 0, 1, 2, 3. This is the index. So we inserted letter O at index 3. So that's why we see O letter at index 3 in the vowel list. We'll be using this one maybe. And there's another method called sort. This method ordering the elements of a list based on their, if they are characters, they will be based on alphabetical order. If they are numbers, let's say integer numbers, they will be from in ascending order from 0, let's say, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, this way, from the lowest to the highest. This is by default, but you can sort the numbers in another way. So you can sort them in ascending order or descending order. By default, it is goes from lowest value to the highest value, ascending order. So if you let's put my mouse. Let's say let me use sort function to sort the vowel list and see the output. Okay, so use sort. Sorry, vowel sort. What's the name? Vowel is not defined. Yeah, sorry, vowel here. Vowel. It's the same name, vowel, yes, vowel. Control C. Control V. Yes. Now let us print it. Control C. As you can see, guys, A, E, I, O, U. Actually, it didn't do anything. Yeah, okay. So the original one, let me do it again, guys. Control C, because it's already sorted. Let me try another one here. Vowel, maybe. Let me see. This is make it O, and this make it C. Okay. Okay. See. Then print. And print. As you can see, guys, they are printed in ascending order based on their order, A, C, I, O, U. This is what sort function does, and we will need this function in solving some of the problems here. So let us start with the first problem. The problem one says, write a function called list underscore range that returns the range of values in the list of integers. Okay, so we need to write a Python function, user defined function that returns the range of values in a list. So what we can understand here, we will be creating a list. This list has a number of elements with different values, and we need to print out the range. What we mean by the range means the highest value minus the lowest value plus 1. This is called the range. So we need to create a list. What we should do, guys, here, it's simply we can start our program. Let us start a new program. New one. First, guys, we need to create the list. So the list name, as we follow the question name, okay, the list name, lis, okay, lis, this is the function list definition. Then we need to create a value to that list. So the number of value is not specified, so we can use a general way how to create the our list. We just use while loop to create a list, and then we use a termination condition, maybe -1, or can it be any string data type. So let us just use simple while loop to generate these values. So let's say value equal value equal int put
Mr. Ahmed,
yes.
can I leave, please?
Yes, okay, yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you,
Enter
Mr.
value,
Ahmed.
you're welcome. Good luck. While value equal, let's say -1. Okay. Assume that we entering positive value, guys. Okay, only positive values. You can use, guys, sentinel loop that accepts the termination condition, accepts string data type. But right now, assume that, guys, we have all our list will contain only positive integer numbers. Value, okay. Now just we add this list dot append value. Then we need to use the same line. Let's see. This is my while loop function, guys. So very simple. Just I need to print the list after I finish. Okay.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Ahmed.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have to go because I have a midterm at
Okay.
like
Uh,
yeah, so I have to
هو
leave.
هو's Ghassan or who?
Ghassan, yeah.
Ghassan. Okay, Ghassan. Okay, feel free to.
Sir, can you excuse me because I
It's,
have to go on campus?
it's okay, no problem. Okay, just I will
Thank you.
upload the
Thank you,
video
Mr. Ahmed.
later on today. No,
Yeah, I'll watch it again. Yeah.
okay.
Even I have midterms too.
Let me, guys, let me pause the recording and ask you one by one. Okay, okay. So just say you want to print list here, or the list was anything, guys. Yes. Okay, and then we need to define a function. Df. Okay. St. Is. This is my, it should be like this, guys. Hopefully everything is okay. Max num minus min arrange this. Okay. Okay, guys. So if you can see, we entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements to my list. This is my list. So the range would be the highest number, 90, 99 minus 2, which is 97 plus 1. This is here, the range usually plus 1. Okay, yeah, added plus 1 after you calculate the difference between the highest number and lowest number, then now you add 1. So this is our code, and this is the results, guys. Okay, guys, I will stop the recording for this part right now. Okay, and resume it in the next class.